All right, so just now it was a choice between baccarat, which I've neglected since Monday, and horse racing, which I also need to catch up with. But you know what? I just thought I'm going to jump back into baccarat and see how I get on. And please remember that the big red nasties here and many that preceded them were always turned around over at blackjack as soon as I got there and had access to the higher table limit. And that's just how these games have to be beaten, I'm afraid. There is no easy way. There is no low risk way in terms of, you have to have a massive bankroll or you're just never going to make it. You have to have a bankroll that certainly can't be as large as the casinos, but it needs to be at least very substantial so that you can bet a widespread and apply all of the rules of pattern betting, which are collectively very sensible indeed, but which are sometimes somewhat stressful because, when you hit terrible volatility, you have to have enough money to get you through to the other side. And it's the slumps, the high volatility which destroys most people and their tin pot sort of shoestring bankrolls. So that's how it goes. Anyway, let's get going here. And boy, oh boy, the year's nearly over. All right, let's move this down to where it's out of the way. And please remember, I have no idea what's coming. Double for the loss. Repeat. Minimum. +1. +1. 1, 2. 3, 4. Minimum. +1. 51. Repeat. 1, 2. 3, 4. Minimum. Repeat. 51. Repeat. 1, 2. 3, 4. One, 2. 3, 4. Back to the min. +1. The last one. Oh, going mad now. 1, 2. 3, 4. Okay, what have we got? 16 wins, 15 losses. So we're one bet ahead and we've got 1,000 in the shoe balance. So, that's got to tell you something. Unless, of course, you don't want to hear it. Double for the loss. Repeat. 51. 2, 3. 5, 6. That's what we needed. Minimum. Win it, etc. Me. I don't know what happened there. I guess it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 3, 4. Minimum. That's one. 3, 4. No, is that? I got that wrong. No, that's right. No, certainly 1, 2. Goody, goody. Plus 1. There's another one. 1, 2. 3, 4. Uh-oh. 7, 8. Need a player now. Please, please. 15, 8. Running to the bank. Aha. Now we're going to go 15, 17 to cover the commish and because of the tie. There it is. Good as gold. I think this is 3, 5, the last bet on the bank. Oh, okay, well, I'll try again.
This is a reminder.
All right, that's so it's 2-1 on player in God, my neighbour's still banging away at 3, 2. Oh my goodness. 5, 4. No, I should leave this because if you see this, we're 5 behind. So save this one and we'll go. So 5, 4 is, so that's 3, 4 in thousands is the first bet on player, the new shoe. What I meant to say was, did I say 5, 4, 3, 4 in thousands? So this is the big turnaround bet on player, coming right up. Uh-oh. 7, 8. Bloody hell. 15. I think it better be 15, 20, and then I'm running to blackjack. I can't believe it. Again? Damnation. Oh well, not necessary. All right, now back to the minimum. You know, people protest all the time about the size of the bets that I'm demonstrating, and I'm sorry, but if you don't do this, you can't win. And this is the whole point. And also, you need to understand, you're not necessarily doing this all in one table or all in one casino. When you get pushed, when you need to move up market, if you like, you don't have to do it at the same table. You don't have to do it in the same casino, even the same town or the same country. But the point is that at the end of the day, when you do turn around, you've got to be sure that you get a reward for all the stress you've been through, the hard work, the time that you've spent. It all comes down to lending money to the house on a short-term basis and then getting your money back with interest. And so, if you've had to put 30,000 at risk or whatever, then when you finally turn around, it needs to be for a decent sum of money, not one unit, which is what the Vegas Mats and all the other paid professional liars talk about when they talk about professional betting. They pretend that it's some kind of suicidal, stupid, well, it can't possibly work, can it? Sort of thing. And then they do what they do, which is just mindless, stupid, brainless, reckless, irresponsible, crazy betting. And they don't care. because they're making so much money from YouTube and from their various bloody freebies and merchandise sales and sponsorships and all that kind of thing. They don't give a shit about their losses. And so what they're doing is demonstrating crap play all the time without any care or concern for the damage that they might be doing to people who might be tempted to try what they try. It just isn't fair. It's not right. But anyway, I've lost money. Repeat that one. Yeah, the very idea that you can beat these games without proper resources, without ammunition, it's just nuts. Five, 6. 11-6, run into the bank again. Bugger. 17-20. All right, we won that one. Okay. I was just going to say, we've got to run away now. Minimum on the bank. Double for the tie. Uh-oh, 3-5, and we'll be running away from the banker again if we lose it. Okay, so that's 2-1, 500s, 3-2. Damn it. 5-4. We're up shit creek here, aren't we? Look at this. Let's run away. 5-4, so that's 3-4 on player again. New shoe. Let's have a nice turnaround here, please. There it is. Okay, so we're at 12 minutes. All right, maybe I can run this shoe out if it'll let me. $51. Repeat. Minimum. +1. 51. 2-3. Minimum. Double for the loss. Repeat. 51. Repeat. Minimum. +1. +1. That's 1. Plus max. Do it again. And again. Okay, we're back to the minimum there now. +1. 51. Double for the tie. 3-4. Damn it! You get so used to winning, that you get pissed off when you lose. I mean, come on, how dare you? $51. Repeat. Minimum. Uh-oh. So I needed a bit more mouse room there. 51, that was a repeat, wasn't it? 1, 2. Oh, Damn it. Yeah, my neighbour's been having a new kitchen fitted for like the last 2 weeks. And then it's a new set of drilling and a new set of banging and a new set of clattering around. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it because obviously she's not doing it to annoy me, but it is a bit obtrusive. I mean, you think that all the drilling would be done in one day, wouldn't you? You know, sort of like, okay, that's all out of the way. Now we just put the fittings in. What do I know? Okay, try again. Okay, that's a chaser. So we got that, so we're out of trouble there. All right. +1. 51. 2, 3. Look at us, we're at 30 wins and 15 losses. I hate that. One, 2. 3, 4. All right. +51. 2, 3. Thank you. Double for the loss. 2, 3. 5, 6. Try again. All right. Yeah, we're on the home stretch, I guess. Well, I should never say that until I get there. 51. 2, 3. There it is. Double for the loss. 1, 2. Try again. +1. 51. Oh, okay. All right. So we're we lost a little bit there, but I'm not going to do another shoe just for that. So we're looking at a good run, 12,700 more or less, in 19 minutes. 12,680, 12, 6, 8, 4 back, 20 mins. Sorry, I just have to write that down because otherwise it'll go out of my fevered brain. So save this shoe. We were well ahead on wins to losses this time, so no great champagne popping and jumping up and down. Anybody could win against that lot. Wait a minute, I thought there was more than. Oh, okay. All right, so there were 2 GAGs. All right, so what did we get? 26 to 31, so -5 at the end of that one. -4 to 13. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. That's -14 totally. I think this one's going to turn out to be good, take us to even. 41 to 28. Well, can you believe it? -1 at the end of this lot, at the end of the 3 shoes, 1 bet behind. So we made a lot of money, and we had more losses than wins. Only one more loss than wins, but still the point is made, I think, and that's what I'm always striving to do, is to just get across this simple notion that you must win more when you win than you lose when you lose, in order to overcome the price you will have to pay for losing more bets than you win over time. And the whole function, the whole purpose of the house advantage in all of these tilted table games is to make sure that over time you will lose more bets than you win. And if you play by the house script, the rule book, if you like, you will bet randomly or you'll bet flat. And flat and randomly are both doomed against a greater number of losses than wins, right? So, okay then. So here's the latest front page with the latest three shoes. Today's three shoes. First one a gag. Next one very promising, very good, until finally it went tits up. So I gagged out of that, and after 18 rounds, and then finally the last one put us ahead 12,684 after 12 minutes, which I think is pretty damn decent myself. Going up to the shoes themselves today, it was a good one, this, because the AV, the actual value, which is all the flat bets, just wins and losses, a cumulative effect tracking, 1.3%, which is about what you expect from baccarat, and we turned that into a player edge of over 20%. And the indicated result, which means that's what you get if you take this AV and multiply it by total action, you end up with this here, which is sort of like about 800 in the shitter, and instead we were 12,684 ahead. So I think, those things matter. I'm constantly getting people saying to me, well, the bet's too high, this is ridiculous, it's crazy, you can't do this, nobody could do this, and that's really my whole point. If you can't afford to win, then you shouldn't bet. It's stupid. You're throwing your money away. Don't do it. I mean, I've been saying that for decades. If you can't afford to win, don't bet. And just remember to look across the table at the dealer's tray and figure out how much money's in there. And that's what you're up against, because if you hit a winning streak, they have to have enough money to carry them through what is a downturn for them, while you enjoy an incredible winning streak. And of course, the casinos know us better than we know ourselves. They know that somebody who hits a winning streak, who doesn't have a plan, in other words, a plan that says, okay, so you've won enough, now go back to a minimum bet and start over. People who don't have that just get greedy, and they keep on betting high, betting high, betting high, betting high, betting high, and they think that they're invincible, cannot be beaten. And so when things turn against them, they just tilt, they go bonkers, they go off the rails. And you can see it with all of these pro losers. Most dramatically, I think, probably Jason Bulkey, Mr. Handpay. When I say dramatically, that is setting aside the total loonies like what's his face, Crazy Cody Burn Money, and the new Canadian nutcase Goober. I mean, those two guys, they must be related. I don't know. They behave the same way. One guy's much younger than the other, that's for sure. But they're both as daft as each other, and I think they're both very well funded by online casinos that give them hundreds of thousands, and not in real money, I don't suppose, but in play money. But at least Crazy Cody heads off to Vegas every so often, and I suppose he must have real money, because he has $1 million out on the table quite often, and he doesn't play well at all. And this is what is so fascinating about these people, is they're professionals, so they don't do anything else but play these games, except when they're playing the stupid slots, of course, and the bottom line is that they can't play sensibly because the casinos wouldn't like it. So what they have to do is go with the flow. They have to just, hope that there's going to be a big long winning streak, a plus streak, that'll put them in clover, and that's the best that they can do. Even Paulie C, the guy I've just started tracking, especially now that he's turned his camera sideways, his phone sideways, and we're getting a better shot of the tables that he's playing at. He's definitely got to work on his camera work, but we all have those kinds of problems. But no, I mean, if you can't afford to win, don't bet at all. That's all it is. And I'm not lecturing anybody, and I'm not. All I'm saying is, I mean, would you expect to make a fortune if you took 5,000 to a broker and said, okay, buy me into Wall Street? I want to be trading stocks. Let's get at it. Would you expect that to make a fortune? Would you think it would be enough to carry you through slumps? Slumps on Wall Street, I don't think are mostly as bad as slumps on tilted table games, but still, I think the analogy is good. The chart to date, 1,831,000. Total average hourly win 6,000. As before, 16 blackjack gags, get up and goes. Where we had to run away from baccarat because the table limit wasn't high enough to enable us to turn around, and so we went to blackjack, which has a table limit which is twice the size, and that's what. And of course, you see, interesting with blackjack. Of course, what you see here is a lot more winning bets than losers, and it's interesting because obviously the bets were high, but by the time we fled from baccarat to go to blackjack to save our asses, and this is the royal we I'm talking in here. It's me and Algie, right? By the time we fled to blackjack to get bailed out, the bets were big. They were up in the sort of 10,000 range at least, and got higher than that before we finally turned around. But we had a 20% advantage at that top end there, and that's this is truth. It's not made up shit. It's not cheated stuff. It's not charlatan doodly floodly boodly fakery whatever fraudulent whatever. I mean, there's stuff that I get thrown at me all the time, and I think the worst of the critics are people who work for the casinos, because they have skin in the game. I mean, they do not want somebody out there saying, hey, you want to win, this is what you do. And this is why, of course, I have to use Sims all the time, because there's just no way that any casino is going to allow me to set up a couple of cameras and play through, knowing that what I'm going to say to them is going to say, okay, not doing this anymore, going to the next table, going to the next casino, going wherever. I mean, the ideal for me would be if I had a casino which sort of said, okay, well, you can have a blackjack table, and beside it you can have a baccarat table, and you can do what you want. Just so long as it's your money, and when you lose, we keep it. I'm not going to use casino money, or I would not want to use casino money. But anyway, why am I even talking about it? It ain't going to happen. Because casinos won't encourage me to produce demos which show people how to win consistently. And remember, I make no guarantees. For one thing, people are mad. I mean, if I were to sort of say, okay, I guarantee I'll cover you, and if you lose, then what I'd get is I'd get people who would bet like the real dafties, like Crazy Cody and so on. Well, can't lose. Hey, great. Okay, so I'm going to bet 30,000 here, and and all that sort of stuff. So there's no way that I could offer a guarantee. And also, I'm not saying that even if you play perfect pattern betting, you're guaranteed to win long term. I can't tell you that because I don't know you. And, I know that I make mistakes in the course of play, and sometimes I get into a terrible pickle. But pattern betting always gets me through it. And that's the most important thing, coming out the other side alive. Let's just go to the Nevada numbers. I do this repeatedly simply because it's kind of like keeping your feet on the ground, understanding that the difference between these low percentages here and these high percentages over here is it's caused by stupidity, ignorance, inefficient funds, just tiredness, emotion, anger, drunkenness. That's another one, and that's the difference between the known house percentage long term for blackjack with decent rules, less than 1%, 13% for the house. Craps, less than 1.5%, 16% for the house, and on and on and on. And I keep coming back here with this because it is a leveler. It's kind of like it's a reminder that if you know what you're doing, if you play systematically and tactically and smartly, you can beat these games. But if you bet like Vegas Matt and Bobby Rivas and Crazy Cody and Bretsky and all those loonies, you're going to get your ass kicked. Simple as that. All right, so back to here, and minus 1.3%, and we're at 4.2%. The house edge has dropped a lot. It's down to overall in these 484 shoes. It's down to 0.72%. Not a whole lot, but and that's friendlier than usual. But I think part of that might be the fact that I get out of there. When it gets really shitty. I can't offer you any other explanation. The thing that's interesting, of course, is that the negative there is assuming that we played all the way through, in each one of these shoes, and because I didn't do that, partly because I didn't do that, we're getting a plus percentage over here. When I get to the point where I say, okay, this is ridiculous, because if this goes on any longer, it'll do me some real damage, then I say, okay, I'm going to get out of here, I'm going to go and play somewhere else. And I'm not guaranteeing, I'm not even promising myself that I will automatically get out of the frying pan into a safe zone, that I won't be jumping into the fire instead. But the whole point of that is to say, okay, you're getting away from the potential for a really bad run, which could kill you. But number two, and it's actually number one, is that you're taking care of your own kind of like state of mind. Gives you a chance to regroup, count your chips, sort yourself out, take a deep breath, decide exactly what you want to do next. And do you want to sort of like stop for a bit and go for a walk, or I didn't do any of the wonderful things that you can do when you're not at a table game in a casino. It's just a break, and it's like in baccarat, when I go from player to bankroll, banker to player, I freeze the bet for just the hop, just that one moment. And I've had folks say to me, well, you shouldn't do that, that's not a good idea. I think it is a good idea. And again, it's simply, but it's like, some of these crazy pro losers, they talk about a heat check. Of course, that's all nonsense. But what the purpose of that is, to when you go from one to the other, if you've made the wrong decision, the hit will not be too hard, and then you can take a beat and then play on to recover or to gag if necessary. But it's all about taking care of yourself and staying true to the strategy, and also not expecting to make a shitload of money if you don't have a shitload of money in the first place. I mean, that's the hard reality of these things, isn't it?